I'm sure this question comes to your mind. Why does ChatGPT excel compared to other machine learning models? Why were traditional machine learning models unable to achieve what ChatGPT has achieved today? Let's try to understand this in simple language. What are the several key factors that contribute to its success? Model complexity and expressiveness. Traditional machine learning versus deep learning. First, let's compare the traditional machine learning model with the deep learning model we are using for ChatGPT today. Traditional machine learning. Traditional machine learning models such as decision trees, support vector machines SVM, and logistic regression work well with structured data like spreadsheets with rows and columns and perform tasks such as classification, deciding if an email is spam or not, and regression predicting house prices. To get good results, you need to decide which parts of the data are important features. For example, if predicting house prices, features might include the size of the house, the number of bedrooms, etc. This process is called feature engineering. These traditional models struggle when data becomes very complex or has many dimensions features. Imagine using a simple checklist to understand a complicated recipe with many steps and ingredients. Let's look at deep learning. Deep learning is like teaching a computer to learn from examples, similar to how humans learn. Imagine you want to teach a computer to recognize a cat in a picture. You show it thousands of images of cats and not cats. Over time, the computer starts to understand what features make a cat, like ears and fur. This learning process involves layers of artificial neurons that mimic the human brain. Each layer picks out different features from the pictures. The more layers there are, the deeper the learning becomes, allowing the computer to recognize complex patterns and make accurate predictions. This is why it's called deep learning. In essence, deep learning helps computers make sense of the world by learning from vast amounts of data, just like how we learn from experience. Transformer. Major success behind LLM can be attributed to the transformer architecture that underpins many LLM. Now the question is, what is a transformer? A transformer is a special type of model used in large language models LLM like ChatGPT. It's designed to understand and generate human language very effectively. Imagine you're reading a book and trying to understand the story. You don't just look at one word at a time, you consider the whole sentence and even the paragraphs around it to get the meaning. A transformer does something similar when it processes language. The transformer's attention mechanism helps it focus on the important parts of a sentence, no matter where they are. For example, in the sentence, the cat, which was very playful, chased the ball. The transformer can understand that the cat is the one doing the chasing, even though the ball comes much later in the sentence. This ability to pay attention to different text parts allows transformers to understand context and meaning very well. That's why they are so powerful in large language models, enabling them to generate coherent and contextually accurate text, answer questions, translate languages, and more. Scalability and parallelism. Scalable training. Traditional machine learning models like decision trees and SVMs often struggle when handling large datasets. They weren't designed with scalability in mind, making it hard to train them efficiently on massive amounts of data. These models typically can't take full advantage of modern hardware like GPU graphics processing units and TPU tensor processing units, which are designed for parallel processing. As a result, training these models on large datasets can be slow and resource intensive. Deep learning models, especially those based on neural networks, are built to scale. They can handle much larger datasets and more complex tasks. Deep learning models leverage GPU and TPU to perform many calculations simultaneously parallelism. This makes training faster and more efficient, even with enormous datasets. These advanced neural network architectures, like those used in ChatGPT, are particularly good at taking advantage of parallelism. They can process large amounts of data quickly and efficiently, making them ideal for tasks that require understanding and generating large volumes of text. Big data. Early machine learning models were often limited by the amount of data they could process and constrained by the computational resources available at the time. They were typically trained on smaller, less diverse datasets, which limited their ability to generalize and perform well on real-world tasks. Modern deep learning models benefit from the availability of vast amounts of data. These datasets come from diverse sources, such as websites, books, and social media, providing a rich and varied training environment. With more data, these models can learn more complex patterns and nuances. This leads to better performance on a wide range of tasks, from language translation to image recognition. For instance, ChatGPT has been trained on extensive datasets, allowing it to generate human-like text and understand context better than earlier models. This large-scale data processing capability is a key factor in the success of modern deep learning models. Learning paradigms. Labeled data. Traditional machine learning models usually need labeled data to learn. Labeled data means that each example in the dataset has a label or answer associated with it. For example, a picture of a cat labeled as cat. Labeling data is often expensive and time-consuming because it requires human effort to label the data manually. No labels needed. Unsupervised learning doesn't require labeled data. Instead, it finds patterns and structures in the data on its own. For example, it can group similar items without knowing what they are in advance. If you feed an unsupervised learning model a bunch of pictures, it might group them into clusters based on visual similarities, even if it doesn't know labels like cat or dog. Generates own labels. Self-supervised learning is a type of unsupervised learning where the model generates its own labels from the data. It creates tasks from the data itself to learn meaningful representations. In natural language processing, a model might learn by predicting the next word in a sentence. The previous words serve as the input, and the next word is the label the model tries to predict. This way, it can learn from vast amounts of text data without needing human-labeled examples. ChatGPT approach. Unsupervised pre-training. ChatGPT uses unsupervised learning on a large collection of text data during pre-training. It reads a lot of text and learns the structure and patterns of the language. Fine-tuning with labeled data. After pre-training, ChatGPT is fine-tuned using a smaller labeled dataset. Learning from examples with known answers helps it perform specific tasks better. Community and collaboration. Open research. The AI community has a strong culture of sharing and collaboration. Researchers and companies often publish their findings and share their models openly with everyone. By sharing knowledge, everyone can build on each other's work, accelerating the development of new technologies and improvements. OpenAI role. OpenAI and similar organizations publish detailed research papers that explain how their models work, what techniques they use, and the results they achieve. They also share their models with the public, which means that anyone can use them, test them, and even improve upon them. Crowdsource data and feedback. Crowdsourcing involves collecting data or feedback from many people. This can be done through platforms where users interact with AI models. When people use models like ChatGPT, their interactions generate valuable data. This data includes the questions they ask, the responses they receive, and any feedback they provide. Conclusion. The success of ChatGPT compared to earlier general machine learning models is due to a combination of factors. The complexity and expressiveness of deep learning models, scalability and parallelism enabled by modern hardware, advanced learning paradigms, innovative architectures, and a collaborative research ecosystem. These advancements collectively enable ChatGPT to achieve higher performance in understanding and generating natural language, setting it apart from traditional machine learning models. Thank you everyone for watching the video. If you liked it, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel.